Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're trying out a new card from Spider-Man / Through the Omen Paths, which is Skittering Kitten. This is a 1/1 for 1 with haste, and you can discard a card and sack the creature to draw a new card. This is very much like Insolent Neonate, a previous card, but that one had Menace and this has haste, which is quite a bit better in a deck where you're just trying to deal as much damage as quickly as possible. This works nicely with our Red Madness deck, which is exactly what we're doing. This list is by Luca A. Shock. Gotten a couple trophies with it, and so the discard is just another way that we can discard either a Sneaky Snacker to bring it back for free, or get a Fiery Temper Madness so that we can deal 3 damage, as well as drawing a new card, or we can discard a Lava Dart, which is particularly nice because it allows us to have a free spell that we can use with our Gutter Snipe or our Arkastic Flame Breather to deal a whole bunch of damage. For free spells, we also have Highway Robbery, which you can plot and then cast on a future turn, and then Fire Blast, which deals 4 damage at the cost of 2 mountains, but ideally you're winning the game when you cast this. Otherwise, we have Grab the Prize as another draw 2 and discard 1, allowing us to bring back a Snacker right away, a couple Faithless Looting, Lightning Bolt, of course, and Valdaran Epicure. For our sideboard and the festivities, a bunch of Pyroblasts and Red Blasts, Searing Blaze, and a Relic of Progenitus. So let's take it into a league and see how we do. Alright, round 1, this hand looks pretty reasonable. We have an Epicure on turn 1, or a Kitten, and then we can discard and draw through both of these to get our Snacker back at some point. And looks like we're against Elves, which I think should be a decent matchup, although Lava Dart can be really good here. Currently it doesn't kill a Jasper or Sentinel, but it'll be good otherwise. Kitten can't attack since they have a 1/2, so I'm just going to play the Epicure. So yeah, we need some Lava Darts for the higher toughness Elves. We need some Lightning Bolts for some higher toughness Elves, but we do have a Lava Dart for the Priest of Titania, which is one of the scarier cards, not to mention a Well-Wisher and things like that. We do need to just kill this right now, so as much as I'd like to Robbery a Snacker, I think we're just going to Dart, play the Kitten, and pass. Now if they cast another Priest of Titania, we can still Robbery and flashback a Dart. They morph a Birchlore Ranger, totally fine. It's a way to keep it alive with the Lava Dart. It's a way to keep it alive through the Lava Dart, but it also doesn't really do anything bad for us. So let's just cast this. I would like to draw a land here, so no reason to plot it. We get our Snacker back. We do get a Bolt, but I don't really care to bolt either of these, so I think we're just going to play another Kitten and just hold back for now. But next turn we can play Gutter Snipe and then have Dart and Lightning Bolt to clean up creatures and things like that. Another Priest, Faithless Looting. So I'm just going to Gutter Snipe and then take out the Priest, dealing an additional 2. And I'm going to attack with the Snacker. They can block here, but I'm happy with that trade. Lead the Stampede, Masked Vandal, Nyxborn, Timberwatch. Nothing too scary. I mean, Timberwatch is good, but I can bolt it. Masked Vandal can take our blood token. I'm not too worried about that. It does also block this turn, but I can get in for 4 around it, and another Dart's pretty good. So let's see if we have enough damage here, because Bolt is 5, Dart is 6, because we can flash it back, and it's 2 each time. So that's 11 damage, plus we attack, they block here, and they take 5, so that will be lethal. Or they block a 1/1, which probably makes more sense, but that's going to be even more lethal. All right, easy game 1. Like I said, we should have a good matchup here. We already have a lot of burn, and the festivities and Searing Blaze are great cards to bring in here. And we're not going to take out any cards that deal damage to creatures, because killing their creatures is the most important thing. We'll get rid of some Faithless Lootings, and I know we're trying them out, but the Kittens just don't make sense here. The haste I couldn't even attack from the very beginning, and other than that, it's pretty much just worse than an Epicure. So we'll see them in future matches, but this one I think we just cut, and maybe 1 Highway Robbery. Sand, it has a lot of incredible stuff, but it's only 1 land. It's just going to lose if we don't get another. This one's pretty good. Searing Blaze is great in this match. I gotta keep them both. It could just be Flame Breather. I think it might be. We draw more cards this way with the Grab the Prize and the Fiery Temper. We do need 1 more land for the Fiery Temper, but there we go. And now we have 3 removal spells and a draw 2. Tangled Islet. So they have blue. That's interesting. That could just mean Distant Melody as a draw spell, but it could also mean Pyroblasts. It could also mean Blue Blasts and things like that. Another Grab the Prize. So I don't necessarily want to Searing Blaze this, because this isn't the highest value thing, but I don't want to Grab the Prize and discard any of the stuff that we have, since I can't pay for the Madness this turn. So I think I will just go for it. Obviously I have to do it on my turn. You can't read this, but it deals 1 damage to a player and a creature, but it deals 3 damage if we have landfall, so I have to do it on my own turn. There is Hydroblast, but that one went to the bin. Birchlore and Nyxborn. Another Searing Blaze. Okay, well, I'm not gonna do nothing here, so even though we're throwing this at face, I think that's okay. We have 8 more damage in hand, and this is 5 right here, plus we're drawing more cards, so that's already putting them to a virtual, well, once I can cast everything a 4. They have Envelop, okay. Counter or draw 2. That's pretty decent. Envelop and Hydroblast. Gotta watch out for those. That is pretty annoying, because I also did that thinking there's a chance I'll draw another land, because these Searing Blazes are better if I have a land drop. Whereas now it looks like I might not. They still hit for 1, so if they just play like a priest or whatever, I can still just take that out. But obviously, you get in for less damage that way. V2 Ghazi Inspector. Okay. They're hitting a lot of sideboard cards, because this gains them just 2 life. But it also doesn't die to a Searing Blaze. Birch Lore. They hold up their blue again. I guess they have another blue here. Well, Snacker's a good draw. They only have 2 cards to have another Hydroblast or Envelop. Searing Blaze doesn't do very much. I'm going to go for the Grab the Prize and just hope they don't have another counterspell. And they did. Okay. Well, I guess it makes sense. This is a very good matchup for us, I think. But with all these counterspells and stuff that they have, it seems a little worse for us. Avenging Hunter. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're in a pretty bad spot now. We do get a Mountain, which means I can double Searing Blaze for 6 damage. I think we just probably are going to lose anyway. I could take out a Hunter, which is the most damage here. Or I could take out a couple Elves, but then we're taking a lot too quickly. Well, I guess I'll shoot the Hunter, and maybe if we draw the right cards, we can still get there. Throw the Hydra out, and they have a 2-turn clock here, so I'd have to win this turn. That seems unlikely. Lava Dart picks this off. I take 8, and I'm dead. Counterspell's pretty good. I can't imagine that they have enough for me to bring in my own Pyroblasts, even if they do have like 6. I think we just send it back and try to play around those a little bit more. This is 1 land, but we can just kill just about every elf we see. I don't know. I'll keep this one. It feels like the type of hand you want to keep. It's not as proactive, because I don't really want to just throw all these at them until I have like a Kessig or something. But I just get to kill a lot of elves, so I don't know. Another Snacker. They have an Ent. They have a V2 Ghazi Inspector, which I guess I just bolt before this goes off. Makes it so they don't gain their 2 life, so it's very similar to just bolting them. Plus it kills their guy, and it prevents, which blocks our Snackers and things like that. So play an Epic here. They have a Sentinel, Mountain. I will bin a Snacker here to draw a new card. Another Mountain. And I think I'm good to trade this off with a Lava Dart. I kind of want to save the Bolt, because if they have a Timber Watch off or something, then I can't kill it with darts unless I use 2 of them, and that's a pretty scary card, so I think we'll just be fine with that trade. Cycle another Generous Ant. Arbor Elf, Winding Way. Hits a couple of dudes. They're holding up blue, though. No, they play the Birch Lore, because they can hold up blue either way. But I can Lava Dart. Okay, that was a great draw. So I can Lava Dart the Arbor Elf, and they could like float a blue, but then I can go to my second main phase. So let's do that. And then we can Highway Robbery, get 2 Snackers back. Grab the Prize isn't bad either. I could just Lava Dart the Birchlore Rangers. It doesn't do anything at the moment, and not until they have another guy, so I think I'll just let it go, and we can do it in response if I really want. Wholesome Marasa, the Inspector. Okay. I assume some of these are pre-sideboarded, or they just brought in like 12 cards, because like Pulsar Marasa is not one I usually see. It makes some sense, but it is an interesting one. So they have blue. They also have their V2 Ghazi Inspector. I'm very sure they have at least 1 counter spell since they're leaving that up. So I'm not going to grab the Prize here. I will just attack in. I'm happy with this trade. And yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything. There's Aquarian. Sagu Wildland. Okay. Gains them 3. We still know about V2 Ghazi, and I suspect a blue burn spell. So now I can Lava Dart the Birchlore here so that they can't tap for blue on our turn. I could just go for Quirion. Either one shuts them off for now, and Quirion's better in general. So let's do that. And then I can bolt the Sagu Wildling. Actually, I probably just want to Fiery Temper the Wildling with the Grab the Prize, so I can hold bolt for later. Let's do that, actually. Gutter Snipe. So I could just throw out Gutter Snipe, but if they do have a Blue Blast, then they can kill it before I can do anything, and then, or they could hold up to counter the Grab the Prize, which I don't want to happen. So I think we're just going to grab the Prize here. Hopefully I can Gutter Snipe like next turn. But we can take out the Wildling, we get back our Snacker, attack for 2, and we got a bunch of burn and pingers next turn. They've still got the V2 Ghazi Inspector, which I could Fire Blast in response, but obviously I'm not going to do that. It's going to be a little annoying. They have a 2/4 with reach, but that's okay. And an Arbor Elf. Okay. And that blue counter spell that I'm suspecting. So I'll probably just lead with Flame Breather to see if they want to counter that. It could also be an Envelop, so maybe I'm playing too cautiously, but it's, just as likely a Hydroblast. And there it is. In fact, it's probably more likely a Hydroblast, because I assume they have like 4 of those and probably only a couple Envelops. So I could attack now these trade and then I get to bolt this. It's not terrible, but then if they play like a Timberwatch Elf or something and I don't have an easy way to bolt it, I guess I could just spend a turn. If they spend their turn doing that, I could spend a turn Fiery Tempering, which isn't bad. I guess if they get like a Lead the Stampede or Winding Way into it, it's kind of bad. But this does allow me to get in with the other one each turn, so I think we'll swing. And if I get a draw spell, then it allows my second snacker to come back. Maybe I should just hold all my burn for the Gutter Snipe. That's also potentially a better way to do it. Land our Elves. Well, yeah, we're just going to Gutter Snipe here. They've got a bunch of mana. I can't really do much about that. I could take them off one of it, but with a Lava Dart. But especially when we have these Fiery Tempers that I currently don't have a way to discard, I'd like to keep my 3 mana. That is a good draw, though. Vitu-Ghazi and 2 Birchlow Rangers is not bad at all, though. They gain 2 life. I do have, what is this, 21 damage in hand, plus the Lava Dart, so 24 damage over the course of 3 turns. There's the Inspector and a Birchlow. Mountain is not bad. Yeah, I'm just going to hold these for face and start throwing them each turn. Another Lead the Stampede. Well, that is lucky. Generous Scent and Nyxborn Hydra. Those are pretty good ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're just shy of being able to play the Generous Scent this turn. Unless I go after their mana like enormously, there's no way I can prevent the Generous Scent. So I think we just accept that. Fiery Temper them. If I get like, I guess I cut Faithless Looting, unfortunately. But if I get like Grab the Prize or Highway Robbery here, we could definitely win this turn. Oh, got another Gutter Snipe. It's pretty good. That means 8 damage, 13. So not winning this turn, but it makes it so that like the food token from the Generous Scent is not as consequential. Avenging Hunter. Okay. Play a Nyxborn Hydra for 3 or bestowed for 2. Yeah, bestowed for 2 onto this morph just to get in for a little bit of damage. No, just block. All right, draw spell or something, or just like a bolt would probably win us the game here. We didn't find it, so again, this is... Actually, wait, do we just win anyway? Because this is 7 damage, and this is 8, and then Lava Dart. So yeah, that's actually just lethal. There's no way they can gain life. I forgot just how outrageous a Gutter Snipe is, not to mention, too, that I did not need to draw anything. Even through a Generous Scent, this would have been enough. All right, match 1. All right, this hand is almost a little heavy on the pingers, but we do have a nice curve, and then we have a Robbery as well. So I think this is definitely a good one. We get a Snacker, which is a great draw with the Robbery. I think against an open island, which could easily Spell Pierce the Robbery, and other things, I'd rather just Flame Breather to get more aggression going. I could also just plot the Robbery so that next turn if I draw a land, I could Gutter Snipe and then get it for free, but I think I like just the curve here. Bolt is not bad. And we're going to plot the Robbery now. Obviously, if it goes off, the Snacker coming in earlier would be good for more damage quicker, but the chances they have a counterspell there are extremely high. There's a counterspell, although they could have had another one. Spell Stutter Sprite. Looks like there might be a Ninja. Ninja the Deep Hours. I'm good with that. I would love for them to not have an island and just stay tapped out. Aw, okay. So if I Highway Robbery, I can actually pay for a Spell Pierce. That's pretty much all they could have, that or a Force Spike. So let's cast it. Deal damage. Discard a Snacker. I guess I could have Blood Tokened away the other one first, but then I actually do get countered to a Spell Pierce. So for a second I was like, oh, I should have done that. It would have been cool if it did resolve, but if they had the Spell Pierce, it would have been much worse. So let's just do this, and I think we'll play Gutter Snipe. And maybe I should have done this first. I could have attacked with the Epicure. Now they could just have a Brine Barrow, so there's not really a reason to. But also, I'd rather get the Gutter Snipe now than have to use a Bolt on a Brine Barrow. So I think this is probably for the best. And now if they don't snap these or anything, each bolt is 6 damage. They pass. I could run out another Gutter Snipe. Probably just gets countered. That seems not the best. Let's just attack with the Snacker. If they want to flash in a Fairy and block, that's fine. If they want to Fairy and Brine Barrow, they're tapped out pretty low. So that's also fine. Let's just pass. They're going to have a tough time casting anything, because if they tap out of counter spells or even tap low so they only have one counter spell, then I can get like a bolt through, and they know that's pretty bad for them. I'm gonna discard this Snacker. They discard a Snuff Out. Oh, okay, that's tons of information. So it's blue-black. It doesn't have to be... I've seen some like blue-black, basically mono blue, adding, you know, splashing Snuff Outs. And then there's the blue-black, which is more of a control deck. But that means that they might not have Brine Barrows and things like that. They do flash in a Spell Stutter. I'm fine with this trade. So I think I just Gutter Snipe, and if they counterspell, I could just double bolt them there at 1. And I feel like, how are they ever going to survive from 1? And if they don't, then this is just really good. Okay. I'm not going to bolt right there because they could have another Spell Stutter Sprite that couldn't have countered this, but even if I just cast these and they both get countered, I guess that's 13 damage even if they do counter a bolt, so I probably would have thinking about it. Here is where we get 7 Pyroblast effects. If they were mono blue, which now we know they're not, I would probably bring in the Festivities and maybe even Searing Blaze. That's probably overboarding, to be honest. Since we have 7 of these, maybe I don't. But these are just definitely going to be the best ones to bring in first. I'm trying to find a way to not cut the kittens. But they could be an interesting addition to this deck and, you know, an interesting main board card. But they definitely seem worse than everything else. Because, like, I don't really want to cut Flame Breathers or Gutter Snipes. Certainly not Snackers against the Fairies deck. Don't really want to cut Draw 2s or Burn Spells. That kind of only leaves, like, Faithless, Kitten. I guess maybe we cut, like, a Grab and a Fiery Temper. Alright, pretty decent curve with 2 of our Pyroblasts. Seems good. Let's just Epic here. Play Cycle a Lorien. So it looks like it is Dimir Faeries. Just because Lorien you probably wouldn't play. Snacker, I'll hit for 1. Let's see, I could throw out a Flame Breather. It gets countered and I don't have a way to interact with it. Or they just flash in a Spell Setter and get a Ninja through. I'm fine with that. I think we'll just wait. I have 2 of these, so I'd rather be able to interact to keep our Flame Breather uncountered. Bojuka Bog us. Nice timing on that, because I'm just about to discard this Snacker. Let's attack for 1, and we get a Robbery and a Mountain. So I could just play a Flame Breather and fight over it, or I could Highway Robbery to bring back our Snacker and fight over that. Then I discard a Lava Dart. I guess having a Flame Breather down first probably makes more sense. I will counter their counter spell. Cycle a Lorien for another island. They Blue Blast the Flame Breather. Swing for 1, and I'll cast a Highway Robbery. So I think I want to discard this Mountain because I actually like the Lava Dart for Spell Stutters, but if I'm going to discard this Mountain and I can play a Mountain this turn, I might as well actually just sacrifice one of the ones that I have on board, I think. Now, if I draw a Mountain, it'd be better to not sacrifice because I could have more later. I think sacrifice is the right way to go, though. There's like a weird little dance, but Snacker comes back. Ooh, and we get to probably just plot another Highway Robbery. I could hold up Pyroblast or Lava Dart. If they flash in a Spell Stutter for a Ninja here, that would be decent, but I think I'd rather just use my mana. I'm not sure that I'm that scared of what they can play for blue here. I guess like a Lorien, but then they're tapped out and I can deal them a bunch, so yep, don't regret that. They have a Snacker. I could Lava Dart the Snacker, but then they flash in a Spell Stutter. It's a little awkward. I think we can just block, or rather attack and have them block. Trade Snackers, and I'm going to Highway Robbery. I have a Pyroblast. If they have 2 ways to get around it, to counter it, that would work, but they don't, or at least don't do anything. So we get our Snacker back, we get to Fiery Temper them, and we pass. We have 6 damage in hand. They cast a Lorien Revealed. I guess I just Pyroblast that. Feels like maybe not, because it doesn't really matter if they draw cards if they can't do anything, but they clearly need to draw something, otherwise they're in a bad spot, so I think it makes sense, and they concede there. Alright, round 3 here. A lot of great cards, but only 1 land. We could redraw with the Kitten, but that's not really how we want to spend it, and we could still whiff, so let's look for more lands. This one's good. We're going to keep. And I guess part of me wants to get rid of a Mountain now. Just 2. But we need the 3rd for the Gutter Snipe. I guess we get rid of the Fire Blast here. Not only do I want to try out the Kitten more, but also if they are a deck that doesn't play a lot of early creatures, then the 1 Kitten could deal like 3 or 4 damage, especially on the play. More Elves. Okay. Well, I hate wasting mana here, but I do think just playing a Gutter Snipe and then a Gutter Snipe is a decent way to win this match, potentially. Although if they have a ton of Elves quickly, which they do, not having any interaction here is kind of brutal, because they already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Jeez, that's crazy. Well, I think we gotta stick to our guns. Play a Gutter Snipe. Okay, Well-Wisher, now we have to find a way to kill that. And they have a Lead the Stampede. Birchlore, Timberwatch, Birchlore. So I'm gonna grab the prize this turn to try to find some removal spells. They play all of that out. Snacker's a good draw, seeing as we're going to grab the prize here anyway. I guess if I find the perfect 2 cards, maybe I can just kill them, but that's not looking to be the case. Steals 6 damage. They can't untap any of their guys here, so I'm going to attack with both of these because they're not going to block with a Well-Wisher, so they could just block here, this on here, but I could also Lava Dart that, so we'll probably get in for a little bit of damage here, which could make the difference. If they block like this, I'm going to discard this Mountain, and if we get like another Fire Blast, or just a Bolt actually, would win us the game. Mountain's not going to do it. Okay, well, Fire Blast is only 6 damage, which means I probably have to just Fire Blast this Well-Wisher, because otherwise it's going to gain them at least 7. We don't die currently unless they draw something good. Yeah, we got to Fire Blast this. They go to 9, so if we draw the draw spell into burn spell, maybe we can win still. Llanowar Elves and a Winding Way. of course, into Generosant, Quarian Ranger, Birch Lore. So Quarian's just going to be lethal with the Timberwatch, because that's going to be plus 18 damage on one of these, and they're already attacking for 2. So, unfortunate. I think they had pretty close to the perfect start. Elves on 1, into Priest and another Elf Tapper, into Well-Wisher and Timberwatch and everything. Well, they might not be playing the blue that the other deck was playing, so we might not have as many worries, though, with our interaction package. So let's bring all of these in. And the festivities, plus grab the prize Fiery Temper and a Kessig. This looks pretty dang good. Start with a Roost Seek. Okay, that's already a little slower, which is nice. We're just going to play the Flame Breather. There's a Priest. I guess double End the Festivities is decent, but I don't want to waste my mana. I kind of want to hit a land drop. I think we're going to grab the prize with a Fire Blast here. If I hit a land, then I might still end the festivities. Just this Priest, I don't know, it puts him to 4 mana, but it also allows him to play like a couple guys and then another, but then they're just deploying a bunch into the end festivities. I think we just hold it for a second. Also, having 2 means even if they play a bunch of X2s, I can kill those. Another Priest and a Timberwatch. Yeah, so I might just have to send both of these off to get everything here. That's not too bad. And then there's a Snacker. Yeah, I think this will set them back enough that we should be able to win. Oh, actually, maybe I should have just Fiery Tempered the thing for the last one, kept the other and the festivities. I don't know, it's more damage to their face. This way I have 9 damage in hand, but the other way I have another way to wipe the board. I don't know. It would have also been more mana efficient, assuming I can't discard this. They don't play a single creature, which is a very good sign for us. And we have 9 right now, so we're 1 off, but the Searing Blaze will make that up, I believe. Oh, they are playing Pulse of Marasa. Okay. Maybe this is becoming more standard since Red Madness is everywhere. Or again, maybe it's just sideboard and I'm not usually playing this matchup. And a Winding Way. And Hollow is another one they have. We already have Snacker to discard, so I think I'm just going to Fiery Temper, which is our most expensive card here. Plus Searing Blaze. So currently these only deal 1, but with the Flame Breather they deal 2 to them. So that's 2, 4, 9, 10. Okay, not quite enough. I'm going to take out this Priest. Yeah, I could hold priority on the Blaze and cast another Blaze. Obviously it doesn't matter killing this, but it would allow me, these have to have a target of a creature and a player and the controller of it, so it would allow me to cast both of those. If I had lethal that turn, I would have done that, but since I don't, I would very much like to save one of these for this Well-Wisher. Birch Lore, Quarian, and there's the Well-Wisher. I'm gonna hold this because if I draw a land here, we actually gain lethal. If we don't, that's 9, so that's lethal. They could have a Hollow or something, because we just saw that they had one in the yard. So if I go for it, and they have a Hollow, we kind of lose because of the Well-Wisher surviving. We're in a good spot, so I think we play it slow, and I just take out the Well-Wisher here. If they have a Hollow for this, then I can Fire Blast the Well-Wisher, which I don't love, but there it is. So if I Fire Blast this, they go to 6. I have 4 damage in hand, and they're not gaining life. They could have another Hollow, theoretically, because of this Quarian Ranger, which can untap, but I think we got to go for it. I need this guy to die. Right. And I also started with this one because they only gained... They would have gained 2 life if it resolved, but because the creature died in response, they only gained 1 life because it only was going to deal 1 damage. Another Well-Wisher. Well, that is bad. Because also, they don't just gain 3 life or whatever. Now they're going to gain 4, plus Quarian can gain 8, so I would like to draw a removal spell or a land for this to go with the Well-Wisher. Or just some way to win the game would be nice too. Highway Robbery is not quite any of that because it's too expensive for the Fiery Temper this turn. I could discard the Snacker, but that doesn't do too much. I could plot it. I mean, either way, if I don't kill this turn, we don't necessarily lose, but if it goes on for more than 1 turn, we probably do. I think we just cast this and discard the Snacker. Even if we get a Fire Blast, that's not quite lethal, and we didn't get anything close to it. Well, they're going to gain at least 8 here. If that's all, maybe we can recover, but there's another Sentinel, so that's 10. So they go up to 16. Not to mention they can untap it on our turn. So that's 21. And they have a Nyxborn Hydra. Attack for 4. There's our mountain. So now I play that. I Searing Blaze the Well-Wisher. They gain 5, but take 3. They go to 18. They have this guy. Yep, well, I could play chicken with them and just try to pass to my end step to see if they want to untap this, but then they just don't. They go to their turn and they get 2 taps with the Well-Wisher instead. So unless your opponent just walks into it, generally it's not better to do it that way. Also, I guess if they untap this, then this isn't going to untap, which means I can attack with a Snacker into this because they won't have this blocker. It's still worth it for them to do so. It's just, I guess we get a consolation attack here. They block with the Sentinel. No, they don't. Attack for 4. Timberwatch Elf. We get a mountain. Well, I got to take out the Timberwatch Elf, otherwise that just kills us. And we'll pass. Attack for 4. Well, I guess Elves have become a lot more resilient to burn, it seems. We barely won match 1. Well, we lost one of the games pretty severely, and then here, looks like we might be losing because of the Hollow and the Pulsamarasa. They're just supposed to lose to their bad matchups. I don't know what they're doing, trying to play around it. We do get a Highway Robbery, which is basically our best draw. Well, Grab the Prize would have been better, but I'm not complaining. But we still need something pretty good to get out of this. End the Festivities would be okay, but we really have to find a way to kill this Sentinel. I guess, like, end the Festivities plus, like, a Bolt, so we could just block, bolt it, and then find a way to kill the Hydra. Meanwhile, they're drawing nothing, ideally. Get a Lava Dart. I mean, that's not bad. Definitely use it to kill the Quarian Ranger, and then maybe hold the last one, the second half of it, for a Well-Wisher or something. They do untap the Sentinel, so we can't attack with the Snacker, which makes sense. I guess we hold this mountain in case we get to grab the prize. And we got about 1 turn to draw something good. They attack for 4. I will take it. And they got a Priest of Titania. Come on, good draw. Fire Blast. Well, that's 5 damage. This Lava Dart is 2, so that's 7. So 5. That's not enough to hit for Snackers, even without this reach guy, meaning I probably play this mountain because I'm going to have to sacrifice a bunch here just to survive. They attack with everybody, so if I block here and here and here, then I'm trampling for 1, this and this, which means I have to dart and Fire Blast these 2, and I take 1 from this, but I could Fire Blast and dart this, which allows me to block here and just the Birchlore gets through. Yep, that probably makes the most sense. Let's do that. Dart the Sentinel, Fire Blast the Sentinel. This also means they are left behind with the Hydra untapped, so I'm not even going to be able to attack in. I'm only going to have a Flame Breather. They're going to be at 10. Yeah, I don't really know what I can draw here, but I guess never give up, never surrender. They have a Timberwatch Elf, and we get an Epicure, which we could play, and then we'll die. All right, on the play with a pretty decent hand. Play Mountain Pass. Our goal will be to try to deploy the Flame Breathers first and then start grabbing the prize and stuff, depending on what they do. Ooh, okay, they're heroic. That's a tough one for us. I do not have a way to kill this right now, so we're just going to do this, but if they gain lifelink, we will probably lose on the spot. If I had just drawn a Bolt, I would have just killed the Trailblazer right away, but I did not. They start with the Benevolent Blessing, which is not very aggressive, but it's going to give pro red, so the Trailblazer cannot die now and cannot be blocked. And then if it gets big enough or gains lifelink, we're going to die pretty quick. Ideally, we can kill them quicker, but we will see. Mountain's a great draw, so it's got to be Flame Breather, because I could grab the prize Fiery Temper, but I'm just wasting damage from this Flame Breather. So I think we just do this. Every Lava Dart cast is now 3 damage, so between these two, that's 12. Grab the prize is 4 damage, so that's 16. Fiery Temper is 5, so that's 21. Next turn, I'm going to Lava Dart on our turn, and that means I have to draw a land for the other Lava Dart, but if they don't gain lifelink here, and I gain a land, that could be 21 damage. There's the Spirit Link, which means they're going to gain life equal to its damage dealt, which is just 2 right now, but if they have an Ethereal Armor or something, that might just be far beyond what we can deal with. Journey to Nowhere in their main deck. Okay, well that is annoying, as it's going to severely reduce the amount of damage we can deal. Obviously we're going to Lava Dart them in response to get the extra 1, but I'm not going to sack a land because I need that land for the Grab the Prize. Again, not very aggressive on their part. Them gaining 2 life is definitely something we can come back from, but I would love to have our Flame Breather still. Ooh, Snacker's actually not a bad draw, because that can block this, just to keep us alive if it does get big enough. Not to mention we could block it and then dart our own Snacker. So I think we gotta grab the prize with the Snacker to get it, because it's gonna be untapped, or it's gonna be tapped this turn. I'd like it to be untapped next turn. So let's get it online as quick as possible. An Epicure's not bad either, because that can discard our Fiery Temper. And this is not going too poorly for us, not so far. We have 6 damage right now if we were to dart them with all of our darts. Another Trailblazer, not a big deal. Hyena Umbra, okay. That is +2 damage and life. I'm gonna dart them just to keep using our mana. Mountain is not great. I don't think I care to Fiery Temper the Trailblazer. So let's just do this now in case I get anything else decent. Throw it at their face. They go to 11. Another Fiery Temper, okay. So that would put them to, that's 4 damage, so they're at 7. 2 darts puts them to 3, and they shouldn't be able to block all of these. So I think that's just lethal. Let's count once more, because if not, I would like to leave the Snacker back. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. They have to have a 1 mana thing that gains them life or prevents damage or something, and I don't think that's going to happen. Deal them 3, emerge unscathed. That is not going to gain them any life or anything, so that's totally fine. It's just Fiery Temper, plus we have our Lava Darts for a lethal, and get them on Xaxes. Alright, it's good we took match 1, because, or game 1 rather, because we don't really have much of a sideboard, and their deck's pretty tough. Trailblazer is a 0-4, so it's hard to kill at all, but they do play also a Crow Sky Raider and the other one that provokes, but they're 1/1s, so Searing Blaze is decent, and the Festivities is okay, but of course they're probably going to grow them quickly, so I think End the Festivities probably isn't worth it, but Searing Blaze still might be. I think Snacker being a non-red card in case they do gain protection from red, that trick could have worked pretty nicely, so I think we keep those in, and I don't think we want to like spin our wheels and draw quite as much, so let's cut a couple of those. The kittens actually seem decent here because again, we can, if they don't have protection from red, we can block a lifelinker and then we can sack it in response, so they could actually shine here so that they can't gain. This is decent. We have the dart on 1, so if they do just play one, like the 1/1, Deft Blade Elite is the one I'm talking about, not this one. Then we could kill it. Obviously can't kill this, so we'll just pass. This is the best card for them, and their best one to go in general, but I'd rather they didn't. There's the Hyena Umbra, so it's going to be hard to kill, even if we can get up to that damage. And another Trailblazer. Swing for 2, Flame Breather. Part of me wants to put down the Flame Breather because I don't want to waste damage on our spells, but we kind of need to hit more lands pretty immediately if we're going to exceed their damage. And also I'd like to get to Gutter Snipe faster, so I think we're just going to grab the prize with the Snacker here. There's a mountain. I will say they didn't put lifelink on this last turn, so it feels like maybe they don't have it, because there's not a ton of reason to run a Trailblazer unless they're worried about this one dying, which they shouldn't be with the Hyena Umbra. Ethereal Armor, that is big, and they have the Blessing, so now it's going to be protection from, they could go black here, but that still seems a little short-sighted. Yeah, they do go red. So we're going to be down to 11. This guy's on blocking duty. The Snacker. Ooh, we have another Snacker, which I probably need to get on the field so that I have rotating Snackers that can block. They only have 1 card, so as long as we just don't die to this, I think that's decent. Because I could throw out Gutter Snipe, block here, but then next turn I can like get back 2 Snackers. They're tapped, and if this becomes 11 power, then we just die. So I think we just get a Snacker now. Fire Blast is decent. We're not going to Lava Dart anything here, so we're just going to Epicure. I guess actually I should have thought about it a little more, because I might have wanted the Lava Dart in our graveyard to just be damaged for the Gutter Snipe. Because if I Gutter Snipe and Fire Blast, that's 6. It puts them to 11. Lava Dart from the grave would put him to 8. We're still pretty far off. If I do just draw a mountain, I can Lava Dart. Okay, well, they draw a Blessing, and now they get protection from black or blue. So now I'm just dead in a turn. What are the chances that we can just kill him this turn? Pretty low. I guess we have 4 damage. Well, we gotta try now. 4 damage. They go to 13. Gutter Snipe and a Fire Blast puts them to not 0. Kessegs doesn't matter. Searing Blaze does not matter. I guess we'll Blood Token away this Lava Dart. If we get a land, we can play Gutter Snipe, but that's still just not going to be enough. Nope, no way we can get there. Alright, let's try again. 1 mountain, but we do have Epicure or Kitten into Snacker, maybe. This hand is okay. We have Bolt. If we don't draw land, we just lose, probably. I guess we're going to be responsible and throw it back. This one's decent. I kind of want the card draw, but if I just keep 2 darts... If I find a Gutter Snipe, that's 12 damage. Yeah, I guess we just get rid of that. Come on, no Trailblazer. Okay. Armored Armadillo. Well, that's also an 0-4, so I can't kill that either. And it has Ward 1. Grab the prize with the Snacker. Epicure. I mean, it doesn't grow as they cast spells on it, which is pretty good. It can pump itself by a bunch for a bunch of mana. There's the Trailblazer. 1 turn later, which is decent. And a Mask of Law and Grace, which is just instant protection from black and red. Well, I guess we're just racing. We are getting flooded. Epicure. Part of me wants to Blood Token away a land to look for something here. I'm only going to play it if it's like an Epicure. Otherwise, it might be better to just hold it in case we get a Fiery Temper or another Snacker. And they have Spirit Link. I mean, this is definitely one of our worst matchups. Just slightly worse or better for us than Bogle's, but yep. This combination we're not going to be able to beat, I don't think. Protection from everything we have, 6 power and life gain. Now the only way we could compete, I think, is like turboing out a gutter snipe and something else, we will just discard. I do get the kitten, not that it can block, so I could mountain. I guess I could have played kitten to attack first. Probably would have been better. I have to shoot this one, which has ward, so I'll pay the 1. I don't care to kill it anyway. I just want to deal the 3 to them. Play the kitten. They go back to 21, and I think we'll just concede. All right, round 5 here. Trying to get the positive record. Pretty decent hand. We're against Dimir, or maybe Familiars. I'm just going to start with the Flame Breather, I think. We drew the kitten on turn 2, which is really annoying, because if we had that turn 1 against this opponent, we already would have dealt him 2 damage. Looks like Familiars to me. Play a Plains, and we'll probably just play the kitten, but I just will get the robbery going too. Since they don't have blue mana right now, and I can get the snacker down, there's no reason to really wait, and we can attack for 2. Cycle and Ash Barrens. Swing. There's the Familiar. So if I bolt that, what are they going to do? Snap one of our guys, maybe? They could just snap the Familiar. I think we'll just attack first. If they want to block, then I can bolt, and if they try to snap it in response, I can dart it twice. So now we'll bolt them. I could just be going for their face, which isn't bad either, but they do snap, and I will lava dart. Yeah, I am using a lot of damage to go for this, but I don't know. Familiar is the name of the deck. Deck centers around it pretty heavily. Let's just play an Epicure and a Mountain. Faithless Looting, not doing a ton here, but if we get a Fiery Temper, or a snacker, which we can discard to our blood and then bring it back, or if they play a blocker and kill the snacker, you know, any of these things. Well, the fact that we just used all our bolts, you know, maybe this is a mistake because they get to draw 4 here. So the Mole Drifter. We do have a lot of damage quickly. Skittering Kitten. I think we just start with a Faithless Looting. I don't think they're going to block here because they have an Ephemerate going, so I don't think that matters. And if we find something good, Bolt is good. I mean, if they block here, they take 4. Bolt doesn't quite kill them, but I could also just bolt the Mole Drifter. Since that doesn't kill them, I probably just bolt the Mole Drifter so they can't Ephemerate again and get in for 5. They go to 3, and them not having a God Pharaoh's Faithful, definitely detrimental in this matchup. There's a Modern Age, and we get a bolt, so now we just get to attack. They need more than just a snap. Prismatic Strands. Well, I'm going to bolt them in response. All right, good to know they're playing Prismatic, though. Relic is good against this match in general, but I think we're just trying to go faster than them. I think it's probably just Pyros and Red Blast. I guess Searing Blaze hits most everything they have except for the God Pharaoh's Faithful, which to be fair, you know, is what we want to kill the most, but it also adds damage to it in case we have like a Lava Dart. This might even be too many Red Blasts. Maybe we just go for the Pyros. Obviously they're mostly blue, but Faithless. Again, maybe it's just bad matchups, but or maybe it's the meta. But Kitten doesn't feel amazing here because they just have a lot of 0-3s, 0-4s, and even some 1-3s and 1-2s with Archaeomancer. And if they're playing Seagate Oracle, it just seems like it gets blocked pretty easily. Same with the Epicures, to be honest. Although if I cut all of these, we only have 10 ways to discard. If I'm also cutting Faithless Lootings, that's a lot of things that I'm cutting to discard. 10 sources, not really enough for all of these, I don't think. Snackers do seem decent, especially against Prismatic Strands. But what else could I cut? Bolts? No. Gutter Snipe? No. Fiery Temper? Fire Blast? Draw spells in this matchup? I don't think that's good. I think we're going to keep it. I guess since we're getting rid of a lot of discard, I'll cut like a Fiery Temper. Alright. Not a bad hand. A lot of good interaction. Decent curve. Another Pyroblast. If we're against a mono blue opponent, I would definitely bring in every single blast, even if it's hard to make cuts. They're mostly blue, but they have most of their white cards are super key. So I don't know. Another Bolt. They could just have Pyroblast here, or rather their Hydroblast. And I don't have a way to protect it, but I don't have the mana to necessarily protect it anyway. So I think we just go for it and hope it does not get countered. No, they get the Hydro. If I had another land, I would have waited, but felt like there wasn't necessarily time to. Faithful is annoying. They bounce their island though, so they're tapped out, which I guess means I have to double bolt this. It's going to gain so much life. I know how this works. Like 6 damage is so much, but this is easily going to gain that. I wish I had a Lava Dart so I could use only half a spell, 1.5 spells. But I think we just have to. There's a Familiar and a Modern Age. Flame Breather, we're just going to bolt this though. And if they have the Snap, I will Pyroblast that. I mean, good news is they're at 2 cards in hand. We're pretty low too, but you know, they have a deep analysis. It's interesting they didn't take that out because it's good card advantage, but they're going to lose 3 life for it. Another Familiar. Chancery. Well, again, I still only have 2 mana, so we're going to Flame Breather. Now it can get prohibited or hydroblasted or whatever. There it is. Another Modern Age. For the record, if I had never killed that Godfarer's Faithful, they would have already gained 5 life. Now 6 life, which is as much life as bolts would have done to their face. Then again, I also could have had the bolts to kill this Familiar, which would have changed things, and maybe this Archaeomancer. So it's possible it wasn't the right call, but I just don't know how you work through that, really. They are down to just whatever one card they pick up, which is a Hydroblast, that they don't have mana for this turn. We get to grab the prize. No, we already had that. We get a Fire Blast. Well, we're going to grab the prize with a Pyroblast. Now we get the Snacker, of course. I mean, if we draw right, we can still do okay here. We get to discard the Snacker, but they're still drawing a bunch. Discard the island they picked up. No, they didn't pick up an island. They picked up the Hydroblast. I was thinking from a Chancery. So Hydroblast, and now they preordain. They snap the Archaeomancer. Okay. They play it again. They pick up the Lorien Revealed. Yeah. If they play that, they tap out of the Blast. So I can Pyro this, which we will. They attack for 2. Grab the prize. Bolt. Okay. Let's see what we draw here. Flame Breather. So this is 7 damage. If I put down a Flame Breather and then wait till next turn, it could be 9, although then they have a Hydroblast. So should I just kill Familiar or Archaeomancer now? They already got rid of the Mortuary Mire. So if I kill the Archaeomancer, it shouldn't come back. If I just hold it up and then they get like an Ephemerate, then I'm going to have to bolt it, the Hydroblast, and I'm going to have to Fire Blast it. And that's bad. So I think Archaeomancer is scarier than the Sunscape Familiar at this point. Question is, if I kill the Archaeomancer and I waste my bolt here, can I even win? Because they're about to have 2 more Modern Ages, which is not the fastest clock, but after they can attack, it's only about 3 turns after that. And then I have to fight through a Hydroblast. I don't think so. I think we just have to hope they draw poorly, get this down, and we have 9 damage in hand. I don't know. Well, Murmuring Mystic was not the worst draw for us, but also not the best, obviously. They attack for 2 and a Fiery Temper. I mean, that's not terrible. It is damage, but it is expensive. We're just going to pass. We're going to take 6 here. We're going to Fiery Temper them. They go to 7. So this is only 6 damage. No, only 5 damage if they counter the Fire Blast. We have 1 more turn, so let's wait. Try to draw something. Cycle and Ash Barrens. They swing for 6, and they're going to pass. I will bolt them on the end step to have as much mana as possible this next turn, and it's a mountain. Perfect. We know they have the Hydroblast, so I guess I can do this out of principle, but we know it's not going to work. And then we die. It's definitely possible we should bring in more Red Blasts. I think that's fair. But it feels like we kind of had more than we wanted there. Like, we ended up using them, but we would have just preferred more damage, probably. It just didn't work out great. I mean, this kind of loses... It doesn't do much if they counter the Grab the Prize, but we do just have a lot of burn. I guess we'll keep it. I don't know if like a Kessig Flame Breather or something is mandatory for this match. You know, our opener. Well, I'll plot a Robbery. I don't really like doing that because then they can just hold up a counterspell for the next turn or whatever. But I couldn't really cast it or Grab the Prize and get our Fiery Temper going. They just run out of Sunscape, so that's decent. I guess I could just grab the prize here with the Fiery Temper. Yeah, that's probably better. Uses our mana. Depending on what we draw, maybe we'd prefer to have like a Flame Breather down or something, but this definitively uses up our mana. Yeah, now we have a Pyroblast with stuff for next turn. There's another Familiar, so I can temper that again. Searing Blaze, but we haven't hit a land drop yet, so let's just discard off the Robbery. Discard a Fiery Temper. Although if we draw a land, we might actually throw this at face, but we don't. Because I'd want to Searing Blaze this, so let's just do this. That's fine. Okay, now we have 7... and this is 4, so 11 damage in hand, plus the Searing Blaze. I just cast a Deep Analysis. I mean, it doesn't feel like I should Pyroblast it, but it also means they're kind of desperate, and they clearly don't have much going on. So I guess we just keep them from doing anything. Gonna Lava Dart, so this is in our graveyard in case we get like a Gutter Snipe. Another Pyroblast. Well, now I'm good with doing that, or having done it, rather. And also, if they want to flash it back, then they lose life. There's another one. I guess we'll just keep it going. There's a Chancery. Another Grab the Prize would be pretty good with this Snacker. Mountain. I don't know if I want to play that, though, because actually we want to save it for our Searing Blaze. So let's just pass. There's a Muldrifter and a Preordain. Another Mountain. Well, I can't say things are going exceptionally for us. They're in a very slow position too, but we could definitely lose this if things go too slowly. We have 10 damage, so I guess we just need to find not just another Fire Blast, because we actually would need to sack 6 mountains then for all our damage, but like a Flame Breather or a Gutter Snipe would do it. They cycle 2 Ash Barrens, play their Plains. Archaeomancer picks up a Deep Analysis? No, just the Preordain. Sure. Another Mountain. Getting close to hard casting a Fire Blast. Not really where we want to be. There's a Murmuring Mystic and a Preordain. Well, these are obviously the better hits for Pyroblast effects, but they could have, if they had drawn them off Deep Analysis, maybe they would just get to them sooner, maybe have other things to use that on. Now, if they just have counter spells, we're going to lose, but also drawing, what's that, 4 mountains in a row or something is going to make us lose. There's a Lorien revealed. Swing for 3, and there's a mountain. Well, there's a Modern Age, and another, and there's a mountain. All right, that's gonna be it. Definitely some annoying luck in that last game. We both had pretty slow starts. I think we were definitely favored in the early game. It's possible that I didn't play the Pyroblast correctly. Maybe I should have held them for more relevant cards other than Deep Analysis. But I also think that if we had just drawn decently or even average after using those, then maybe we would have been able to finish it up. One random Keswick Flame Breather or Gutter Snipe would have definitely won the game there. A Fire Blast would have been decent now that when we had 6 mana, but we drew 4 or 5 lands in a row, and that's just going to lose you the game almost every time. White Heroic is one of our worst matchups. If they get protection or life gain on there, we pretty much just lose right away, and that's pretty much how it played out. We were able to steal game 1, and we did win, and we did lose a match against Elves. I think generally that's obviously a favored matchup since we have so many ways to kill Elves, but they also are packing their sideboards with it. The first one that we played against that we did win against, they had just tons of blue spells to counter all of our red spells, but then they also in the second match had Hollows and Pulse Marasa to gain life and prevent themselves from taking damage. So those ended up being a little harder than I was really anticipating, and then we went against Dimir Faeries pretty handily. So the deck is obviously very good. Skittering Kitten, I don't know how it's going to do. It just seems there's nothing wrong with a solid card in your main deck that gets sided out most times because there's better cards to bring in. But it feels a little underwhelming. Of course, we didn't necessarily see matches where it could be really good, and we never had an opening where we just got to play it and attack for a whole bunch. Usually it was blocked after a turn or two, and we didn't end up sacrificing it a single time, and we didn't end up sacrificing them a single time, I don't think, because every single time we had it, I think we were either too far ahead or too far behind that it really didn't matter, or we just had other discard outlets for our Fiery Tempest and our Snackers, and we just didn't need to waste our creature. In any case, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons and Metafy subscribers, including my $10 supporters like Howard Granger, Laars, JMW, Rafa Rodriguez, JDNPX, Ill Intent, Jason Golombuski, Groma, Halkaz, Ricardo Pasqualato, and Cody Cowell. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.